Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. We know your time is valuable and we're so excited to have you join us to celebrate this very special moment. For those that I haven't had a chance to meet yet, I'm Leilani. I'm the Chief Experience Officer at Vizard, and this is our first official event, the First Spark, a conversation all about creator origin stories and moments that got them started. This event is powered by Vizard. Big shout out to our CEO, Gary. We're an AI video editing platform designed to help creators, marketers, agency owners, and founders elevate their content workflow. Think of it as if ChatGPT and CapCut had a baby. Our ultimate goal is to build a fully conversational AI editing experience where you can simply prompt the agent to help you edit with the click of a button. We're also so excited to host this in partnership with Vently, and I want to take a moment to introduce you to my amazing co-host, Gargi.
Awesome, thank you. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. My name is Gargi. I'm one of the co-founders of Vently. Who here has heard of Vently by any chance? All right, a couple people. We host a lot of events in the city. We are currently building an end-to-end community management platform. So if you are hosting in-person communities in SF or anywhere, we are here to power your community. So before we dive in, I wanted to give a really big thank you to all of the people who made tonight possible, especially our team, volunteers, and all of our sponsors. So let's give a big round of applause. All right, so we have two very exciting panels ahead of us with some incredible voices. We have artists, creators, engineers, advocates, designers, entrepreneurs, DJs, and community builders who are all shaping the content and the community we have today. So if you hear something tonight that inspires you, we recommend you post it on your story, share learning, tag us and post us, and we'll repost all of the content. And yeah, so let's get into it and let's spark some great conversations.
Now, I'm esteemed with some very talented guests tonight that are from various walks of life, and I'll let them come up here to introduce themselves, but give a round of applause for them. Thank you all for coming up today. This is the Vizard panel, How 4 Creators Build Their Personal Brand, where we'll be covering origin stories, the differences between platforms, and how AI video editing can come into play in this new era, and how each panelist creates content to resonate with themselves, their audience, or community. Now, enough from me, because I want to give our panelists a chance to introduce themselves and talk about some of the industries that they work in.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael. I'm actually active duty Coast Guard, but I do make content, men's fashion, lifestyle, interior design, and just kind of random stuff.
Hey everyone, I'm Michelle. Mainly on YouTube, I've been on YouTube for about 4 years on and off, but on Instagram I make lifestyle, wellness, and clothing and content.
Hi everyone, I'm Adam. I am a product designer, but I am still on a path on being like national fencer for the LA Olympics and all the folks out. And yeah, so I do a lot of content on YouTube and also Instagram.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm also a product designer working in tech, but I also create content on like AI and design, fashion. Me and Adam also like sometimes upload DJ content. How do we do?
We'll definitely get a taste of their DJ content later as we are building and joining our sponsors. And I guess I'll talk a little bit about myself. My name is Leilani. Again, I'm the Chief Experience Officer at Vizard, and originally from Vancouver, Canada. Shout out Canadians. I'm also a product designer turned product marketer, content creator, and founder of Red String Studios, a community linking art, technology, and travel for creatives, nomads, and self-starters. And we would love to talk to you guys about any of these categories that you're interested in after the panel. Now, to start off, I have a collective question for our panelists here tonight. What was that moment that initially sparked you to get started in content creation?
Yeah, I started about a year ago, and to be honest, it was just sort of a leap of faith thing. I think content creation is something that has always been on my mind. I like fashion. I got an apartment. I wanted to decorate my apartment and also document that online. And now it's been a year now, and I think it's going pretty well. So.
For me, I always vlog with my family vacations. I never went anywhere, but I really fell in love with like camera work and cinematic. So in high school, I started a channel and then shut that down. But then during quarantine, I picked up the camera again and then started YouTube.
Yeah, so I've been in fencing for about 15 years, which is why I think in the US actually I'm recruited for fencing. I'm the only one here in the US. My family's all back home, and I've got a lot of experience doing dabbling in iMovie and all that, and I wanted to capture my story here in the US so that instead of just phone calls from my parents, it would be like, yeah, watch this video, it's way cool.
I think I first started learning about like using camera and editing video because some of my friends and I, we founded our first like K-pop dance club at USC and we were filming covers and I had to like learn how to film covers, but then afterwards so many things that I'm interested in and I wanted to experiment with cool ways of like video transitioning and just showing my creativity and that's how I started.
I love that everyone here had a very different starting point in terms of their content creation journey. So let's dive into what the audience really wants to know. With Michael, you've built a recognizable brand with stand-up series like Your Matcha Cafe and Boy Apartment content. But you've also said that you just like a lot of stuff. How did you find your authentic voice through it all, and what advice do you have for creators who feel pressure to niche down and pick just one thing?
I hear that a lot about like niching down. Honestly, I don't really believe in niching down, and for me, I feel like my favorite creators and the ones that I think are the best are the ones that push their personality first. The ones that really let their personality flourish are the ones that, you know, build a really great audience and they just have to believe that if they put themselves out there to the internet, people will resonate and the audience will follow them. And so that's kind of how I approach my content. I feel like everything that I put out is an extension of who I am, and it's just definitely just an expression of myself. And if people watch it, that's great. If they don't, sure.
If they mess with you, they do. If they don't, then it's cool. When I first met you, I feel like you had a very outgoing and bright personality. And I just wanted to know, were you always this Michael that you are now?
No, definitely not. So a year ago, I started doing interior design, decorating my apartment, and starting content creation. I was a bit more shy and embarrassed. And with that, you can do like kind of faceless, voiceless content. And then kind of like putting myself out there more, like talking more, showing my face, showing myself. Definitely took a lot of practice, took a lot of time, but definitely something I have to work on.
Yeah, and even for me, when I watched some of your series, I really wanted to just like copy you. We both speak Cantonese. I don't know if there are any Canton speakers in this audience, but he does a series, Speaking Cantonese Until I Get Better. Those are one of the series that perform the best in your content, is that true?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
I love that. Through those videos, you were able to find your own voice.
Like it's pretty scary to like put yourself out there on the internet. But honestly, like at the end of the day, if people watch it, they'll watch it, but you really can't be blamed for trying your best, putting yourself out there, and really building something for yourself.
Now, Michelle, I know you went to the Austin Creator event recently.
Last weekend, I went to Austin, like on a whim, to a film festival. It was really cool to see that all the creators that you see on the screen are just human like you. Some of them are very down to earth. When you're talking to them, we all go through the same struggles. We all have points where we want to give up. It really puts me like the films and meeting the people behind these.
I feel like your brand feels very cozy and grounded, especially in a space like pre-med that's often dominated by the hustle culture. As you've grown and shared openly about mental health, gap year struggles, and burnout, how do you stay consistent with content creation and navigating those personal changes?
That's the big question, how to stay consistent. When I started YouTube, I posted probably like once every 3 months, but the world didn't end when I didn't post, so don't put so much pressure on yourself to be super consistent. Two things come to mind in terms of keeping my consistency. One, I would say to switch it up. So for me, if I'm bored of YouTube, I'll switch to like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. And then the same thing as Michael said, like don't niche down, pick different things that you're interested in and make content about that. The second thing I would say is when I'm burnt out from being on camera or editing, I just take like a cool chunky break from it. If I give myself like 10 minutes to decide if I want to be on camera. If I'm asking myself, do I really want to be on camera? I probably don't want to be on camera, and the content that I make won't be authentic to my audience. So if I'm questioning if I want to be on camera that day, then I just turn off the camera, take a break, and that's usually when I find the most inspiration to starting on the next thing?
There are definitely times when I feel very burnt out and I don't even know what to do myself, but then I realize I just need to do absolutely nothing. Someone else who also has a lot of niches is Adam, actually. He lived at the intersection of elite sports, design, music, 3 distinct arenas. Across sharing your story through social media platforms, professional work, and as Skywalker in your music, what's shaped your identity the most, and how have these different mediums and spaces influenced the way you tell stories and connect with your audience?
Oh, that's a great question.
Great question.
Yeah, so I've lived like many different lives, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. Like my whole life was fencing, and then still is. And now I'm also in big tech. Like I'm working. I've worked at Tesla, and I left Twitch to join a startup recently, doing product design mainly. The last thing is me being on a whim when trying to be like an artist or music artist who makes a lot of covers and makes their own songs. So that there's just so many things that I'm exploring right now. If you think about all these different vignettes, there's all these platforms that you can post your story. Because if you're posting a song, you might want to post it on Spotify or SoundCloud. And then when it comes to posting design, maybe shedding light into your day-to-day life as a designer at this specific company, right? And that maybe is true of YouTube or Instagram. And then there's the other part of fencing. It's like, why do you want to see someone fence, or why do you want to see people swinging swords? Like, is that interesting? For me, it's just playing around and telling that story so that people can vibe with me more than listen to me. Because I want people to have a front row seat to what I'm doing in my life, so they'll be like, oh, Adam is kind of chill. I always hang out with him. So that's kind of the vibe that I want to give to people whenever I'm sourcing out, okay, which platform should I post on, and it doesn't give me that much stress when I think about this.
And I feel like something that everyone is really curious about is, in terms of which platform you post on, what is the type of content that you should be posting? Because I feel like they're a little bit different on each platform. So how do you navigate that?
Yeah, so there's no really right answer to this. I feel like for everyone is a trial and error method. I've posted things and archived it or deleted it. If you follow my Instagram randomly, I'll go on Instagram Live and you'll see me like the most random places. I might be shopping or I might be DJing at an event. So for me, it's a lot of experimentation, and I think I'm very grateful for my creative side of design because I like curation a lot in my content. So sometimes I can be scrappy, posting on Instagram Live, not giving a damn really about what shows up on camera, but other times I really want to be specific and put all those effects and editing. And I spend a lot of time in CapCut editing, so it really depends.
Totally. Jumping off of your point with CapCut and tools, I feel like, Jennifer, you're someone who has played a key role in developing AI tools like Microsoft Designer, and your personal brand uniquely blends lifestyle, design, fashion, and DJing. How do you see AI reshaping the future of personal branding, and how do you personally use it in your content creation process to stay efficient while keeping your brand authentic?
Yeah, for sure. I worked on AI creation tools for the past 3 years. That's sort of what I've been really passionate about in my work, as well as because there are so many new tools with AI and creation coming out all the time. We can easily turn it into like series of just like trying different things with your content with the new tools. I remember like trying a travel plus fashion video on a trip, and then I incorporated some effects I used in Pipa, and then like added music to it. So then it's kind of like a twist to the normal content you might see out there, and I think I should honestly keep doing that series. But also I think in terms of like visual and video creation using it, it saves me so much time now that I use tools to generate some images that I would have otherwise had to go find for a long time, or I have to create from scratch. Use these tools to generate assets for my mock-ups, designs, but I still need to use tools like Photoshop, Figma, whatever I'm comfortable with, CapCut to edit it. And a combination of like using ChatGPT to help me brainstorm what my storyboard should be like, what are some of the hooks and captions you can use. Obviously, you feed it as much information about your content and where you want to be first, and then it might just give you a good amount of inspiration to start with. But I would never rely fully on AI for figuring out your content, and people can tell when you're using AI or not being the most authentic. So So the thing I always say is, yeah, it helps you take it from 0 to 0.5, and then from 0.5 to 1, you would need your personal case, your own creativity. I also recently tried Vizard because it's like really good for just turning like long form into short form. Some smart feature where you can edit your whole thing after reading part of the sentence of the voiceover and it automatically clips for it. So I would just encourage trying like all the different tools out there just to spice up your content.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I think what you're talking about is transcript-based editing, and Vizard automatically turns your long-form content into short-form clips ready for social media in the correct ratio with captions. Definitely give it a try. But on that note, I'd love to highlight that we are actually offering 1 month free of Vizard.ai's creator plan to everyone who has signed up to attend our event today. Feel free to learn more about it today, but you will receive an email in your inbox on more of that. Thank you so much, Michael, Michelle, Adam, and Jennifer for joining me today and sharing such honest and inspiring stories. The first part is all about exploring the why behind what you do, and I think we've really heard some powerful answers tonight, from taking a leap of faith to blending passions across different worlds. Now let's pass the spotlight over to our Vently panel.
My name is Gargi, I'm one of the co-founders of Vently. I won't give the Vently pitch again, but I'm also starting my own community called Nova. And without further ado, I will pass it on to Marvin.
Hi everyone, my name is Marvin Syed. So I'm founder and CEO of Marvelous. So we connect companies with their ideal customers through in-person events like this. So probably most of you are interested in creator economy or the influencers, or maybe you want to be an influencer. That's why you are here.
Hi everyone, I'm Delia. I am a software engineer but now turned full-time creator. So I make content under the name Tech Unicorn. Mostly memes, to be honest. I built a community of 500k plus developers. And I love creating content. That's what I'm really passionate about now. So super excited to be here.
Hello everyone, my name is Peyton O'Hara. I'm from the Bay Area and my full-time job I do employee benefit, corporate sales. More importantly, the reason I'm here today is I co-founded a content creator social network called Creators Club. Launched in January this year, so we're still a little bit newer, but thanks for having us today. Excited for a fun conversation.
The very first question I have for Marvin is, in your time at Google building global communities, what do you see work universally, regardless of geography or industry?
One thing is common is definitely like we all need connection. People want to feel like they belong to that community, right? So that's the one thing that we have been adding to our strategy. But more than this, like localization. So basically one thing which works anywhere in the world, any city in the world. I built communities in Mongolia, Kazakhstan, Istanbul, and Europe, India, like basically all over the world. And one thing that you have to do is like the rituals. Like you cannot build a community with just one-time thing. People should feel belong. Also, they should feel like they're also getting. They're not just getting from you. So that's the way how it works out for all the countries.
And now moving right along, I'll pass it on to Delia next. So the question I have for you is that you partnered with so many giant corporations such as AWS, IBM. So going off of that, how do you keep community authentic when it intersects with brand, scale, as well as corporate influence?
I actually think about that a lot because now that I've become a full-time creator, I have to think a lot about which brand deals I want to accept and that align with my community and my values. And it's really hard to scale authenticity. Like I think a lot of the reason why IBM and AWS and all these brands want to work with me is because I've built so much trust over the years, and I actually say no a lot, like a lot of different brand deals, because I don't want to lose that trust from my audience. I think about, is this something that I would be proud of? Like, is this brand really aligned with what I want to put out there in the world and like what I see as the vision?
Going off of that, what do you say are your top 3 values that you really take pride in when it comes to different partnerships, brand deals, and things like that?
My honesty, like that's the most important thing for trust. So like I would never work with a brand that I don't actually genuinely like or use. My brand is around living your best life and like freedom. So So I guess freedom would be one of them. I'm like a full supporter of remote work before remote work was a thing.
I think the third one is definitely care. She cares a lot, and she also cares about her audience, people around her. So I was really care.
Yeah, and we're working with big brands. Actually, it's really funny because both me and Murphy used to be Google employees, and then we became Google vendors. So like Google became our client, and it's really interesting switching the tables like that and like learning what brands want. You know, because you have to think about, am I providing enough value for the brand, but also for my community? So it's kind of a balance of like aligning those things.
Going off of community, I think no one does it better than Peyton. What does success look like for your community? Not in numbers, but in actual transformations for all the creators that you help bring together.
It actually started very much on accident. I was doing marketing for a holiday pop-up bar in my local North Beach neighborhood, and instead of just having like a friends and family party, I decided to just invite content creators. It was just such a successful event that I have so many people coming up to me like, how long have you been doing this? When's the next one? This has been so much fun. And it was kind of like that next day, Grace and I made a logo, made an Instagram, like, okay, clearly there's a need here. How we measure success is honestly when I see people hanging out outside of our events and collaborating and bouncing ideas off each other. That is genuinely what warms my soul so much. Especially like the main pillar of Creators Club is collaboration over competition. That's really where I see success in Creators Club is genuinely just the community kind of building before my eyes, especially when it was kind of on accident.
Following up on that, Margaret, I know you have done so many different events and community building events for creators. Now that you're building an AI agent platform for smarter events, so how do you think AI will really redefine community building?
When we were trying to host an event and invite the right people, we were having a really hard time. I needed to be updated about if everything is correct, like if the venue is and the partners are aligned with the brand. What changed? Hosting an event, inviting the right people, curating the audience, connecting people. These things are right now so easy because we can basically just categorize everyone, each person with their interests, and also be straight with their social media like reactions or posts, like all the like signals. And afterwards, we understand that these people can be interested in these audience selections. So they can find their co-founder, love of their lives in this event. Because basically we have the whole data of people who are going to which events, what kind of events they are interested in. So, and the other thing is definitely personalizing the experiences. Most of you have probably like specific selections about the drinks, food, right? All these things. And after this event, you have a chance to give a feedback. And all these feedbacks, we don't need to check the data one by one, right? So we can understand this audience is approximately like these kinds of experiences and these kinds of food space. This is also another thing, personalization. More than this, scaling any product in the world is even easier because we used to do all these localization again super manually. If you are building communities around the world, which country you are targeting, firstly you should understand that country's values, their culture, what they like, what kind of communication channels they prefer. For example, in Central Asia, they don't use WhatsApp, they use Telegram. But if you go to Europe, they use WhatsApp. In US, people prefer iMessage. When you text somebody in US via WhatsApp, probably they're not going to reply you fast. But if you message them iMessage, it's probably like faster. You know, that kind of details.
Very well said. Keep going with the theme of AI. So Julia, next question for you. I mean, you've created workflows and AI tutorials that have reached over 1 million people. So how do you think that sharing these tools build trust and empower other people to build alongside you?
I'm a huge fan of open source and building in public. So I think when you share all the tools you're using, failures as well as successes, like people don't want to see just the result. They want to see like the messy, how did you get there? So I like to like open source my life in that way. Everything that it took to get to somewhere and not just the end result. So if you can get really good at cinematic storytelling and sharing your journey to building something cool, you're going to pop off so hard.
I think I can definitely relate to that because, I mean, how we grew Vently was from sharing the bad, the low, the ugly. Hosting 50 events in 2 months, not easy, but people like the behind the scenes of that. And I think just going off of building trust, next question. As a new face in the city, in a sense, known for tech, how do you quickly build trust with the local creators?
San Francisco being so tech-oriented really creates that specialness for content creators in San Francisco, because clearly we're not in LA, we're not in New York, we're in San Francisco, and I think that it's really, even just today, I was just thinking about, wow, it's so cool. We have Vently that's creating that bridge kind of between tech and community, which I think is really cool. In terms of like our events, I think the people who are coming to our events, they're the ones that keep, hello?
Welcome. She made it. Come on.
The people that have been coming to our events and keep coming back, I think a big reason that they're coming back is because they're seeing value in our events. And a great example of this is I was asking one of our members, hey, what do you really learn about? And she was telling me how she really wants to start a podcast. Gogo, who's actually in the room today, she's a lead podcast producer for a lot of different podcasts. And we had a whole panel, and it was about how you want to start a podcast tomorrow, here's what you need to do. And I think that by really listening to our members on what they need from us in order to continue growing their platforms, if we can continue providing that, then I think that means we're doing a good job. And that second part of the question of like building trust within building community, you have to know kind of like what part of the community people are looking for. And I think that obviously people love social media so much because it's a virtual community and people feel seen and they feel a part of something. So I think that if you can give that to people in person, then you'll be so successful. I'm also just such a community-oriented person. That's always been something that I've always felt really strong. Giving people just that in-person space is just a great way to help each other kind of build. And even just as a content creator myself, it's been so fun being able to meet so many different creators. I think also as a content creator, you're a business owner, whether you have 10,000 followers or 10 million followers, you're a business owner. So I think that it's really cool to create that space and sense of like respect too for all these content creators that are working so hard behind the scenes and giving people the chance to just have an in-person space to talk about that kind of stuff with other content creators.
Amazing, thank you. No, I love it. Long-winded, but I love it. So speaking of their spaces, now we have our fourth panelist who's here on stage. I know she is very well known for all of her work in hackathons. So before I go into the questions, I'd love to get a quick intro about yourself, and then we'll dive into the questions for you.
Yeah, nice to meet everyone. Intro is I recently won 21 hackathons through a content creation following, and I'm a co-founder of a VC-backed company.
Love it, thank you. So going off of that, I know you mentioned this, but you've won countless hackathons, you've gone viral, you've raised capital, and also dropped out. So what role has community played in giving you the permission to take all of these bold steps in your career?
Community was extremely important. For even starting the startup, it was like looking through comments, seeing what people's pain points were. Community was like the first node in which I was able to come into contact with like a lot of people at one point and sort of see how to communicate with like a large mass of people as it comes on iterating on products.
I know you have over 70K followers and 150K live streams. How do you think about your audience versus your community? And going off of that, where's the line? And how do you move people from only consuming content but actually connecting with your content?
I think by really listening to the people who consume. For my videos, I always ask at the end if there's any questions. Then, like the next videos are direct responses to a lot of the questions or feedback that they have, as well as even the startup itself really aligns with the community I created. There's a Discord server, and the platform itself like directly helps people come up with hackathon ideas, plan out hackathon features, and enter hackathons. It's called Sprint.dev.
So I will have one final question, and this is open for all panelists, so anyone can take this one. What do you think are the top couple of trends in 2025, and what are you most excited for?
Well, as I mentioned already, the biggest trend in 2025 is storytelling. If you can get really good at storytelling, you will blow up, because especially cinematic storytelling, like if you can get good at film, especially because AI is taking over, people want real humans and real human stories. So they want to see your struggles, they want to see like your background and your journey and what it took you to get to like whatever you're doing. You know, you could be a student, you could be a startup founder, or like whatever you're doing, if you can tell a good story about why you're doing it, why you're passionate about it, then I think that's the best way to grow an audience. So get really good at storytelling. Like I even took courses on it because I was like, you know what, I want to get good at it, and that's what it takes. Like it's not something that you can learn by doing through trial and error, but I think it's a lot better to learn from the pros and watch a bunch of YouTube videos, or like I got master class and all this other stuff. So get good at storytelling. That is the number one trend that I see. And I'll let other people talk about other trends, but that's the biggest one for me.
One trend that I've been really liking recently that I think is going to be a lot more in 2025 is, like obviously collaborations are already a thing, but I noticed on April Fool's Day, there was so many large brand collaborations that I feel like haven't been done before. Obviously it was a joke because it's April Fool's Day, but I thought that was really interesting. That even for Stagecoach, there's a lot of different kinds of brands that we're collaborating on.
I definitely agree, like storytelling events, and I would say start your like community from with just 3 people and try to find something like curated, not something like common like a tech meetup stuff, and you will realize that you will find your people so fast.
Love it. All right, so I think we are wrapping up the panel. So let's give a big round of applause for all of the panelists who took the time